Yo, what's up? Welcome to Kind of Funny Games Daily for Thursday, August 11th, 2022. I'm one of your hosts, Blessing Adeoye Jr. Joining me is the LaCroix Poppy himself, aka my fellow Forbes 30 under 30, aka Tim fucking Geddes.
Let Tim host. Bless. It's a brilliant morning to be here with you. Very excited about this episode of Kind of Funny Games Daily. Let's get it.
Another Thursday. It's our second Thursday together. And honestly, I think it feels great. Like, of course, I love the Mondays with you, but coming off of last Thursday, I feel like last Thursday's show was wonderfully chaotic. And I can feel that this show might be similarly wonderfully chaotic. It's brewing. I do want to address the elephant in the room. I got a haircut. And my haircut, I know it's not bad, but it deeply upsets me. Because my barber did the thing where, shout out, Jabari, if you're watching this, you're wonderful. You're still going to be my barber. I don't have beef with you, Jabari. But he did cut off too much of my hair. And so now I don't have like the longer, somewhat messy hair that I'm used to. It's all clean now, and I don't like it. It's too short. I like it longer.
You've learned the lesson at this point. And that's the thing is when you have something you got to look fancy for, you can't go too close to the sun. You got to give it a 3-day buffer because you never know. I would say there is a 1 in 5 chance in my experience that you're going to have the situation you're having now, which I have all the time. This haircut's grown in a bit, so I got my hair back. But it was a similar situation to you where I had to look good for a shoot and then cut it a little too close. And I was like, oh, you went just a little shorter than I want. So now, like, you see these little nimbly bimblies?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I see those nimbly bimblies.
It's because my hair was too short, so they never grew out quite the right way. But Bless, let me tell you, you're close to greatness. I feel like this tomorrow, the next day, it's going to be exactly how you want it to look. Because I'm with you. Well, right now, this is a 9 out of 10 Bless haircut. But we know that Blessing is fucking capable of those 10 out of 10s because you be pulling those things out every couple months, man.
Thank you, man.
I also said before the show that for whatever reason, this length of hair makes you look a little bit more buff. And you know what? I kind of like that.
Yeah.
I left the barber feeling like, I felt like it was more... it felt like almost like I was going for a military cut or something like that with like the amount of, with as much as they cut it. I left the barber feeling like John Cena a little bit, and that's not what I wanted. But honestly, like looking in the mirror lately, I've been like, okay, you know what? It's fine. It's fine. It's growing on me a little bit. It's growing on me. Hey, there it is. Enough about that. Tim, let's talk about today's stories, which include PlayStation blocking games from Game Pass, Dragon Ball coming to Fortnite, and more, because this is Kind of Funny Games Daily. Each and every week at 10 a.m. live right here on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames. We run you through the nerdy news you need to know about. If you're watching live, you can correct us when we get stuff wrong by going to kindoffunny.com/you're wrong. If you don't want to watch live, you can watch later on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, roosterteeth.com, or you can listen later on podcast services around the globe by searching for Kind of Funny Games Daily. Remember, you can use Epic Creator Code Kind of Funny on all Epic Store and Epic in-game purchases like Rocket League and Fortnite to help support the channel. To be a part of the show, to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, where bronze members or above get to write in, and silver members or above get the show ad-free with the exclusive daily post show. Housekeeping for you. Are you ready to rumble? Well, Friday, we're doing a sponsored Rumbleverse stream with a bunch of guests from Iron Galaxy to talk about the launch of their Brawler Royale. Come play with Greg and Mike in private Kind of Funny matches after KFGD at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Fargo Brady, Guy V, and The Saboteur. Today, we're brought to you by Chime and MeUndies, but we'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin with what is, and forever will be, the Roper Report. It's time for some news. We have 6 stories today.
Baker's dozen.
Starting with our 0.1. Right as we were starting the show, Tim, you added a story to the doc.
I did. Let me read this one, Bless. Okay, let me take this one, all right?
Where does this come from?
Comes from comicbook.com from Cade Onder. God of War Ragnarok reportedly causing developers to move their games. God of War Ragnarok is reportedly such a titan of a game that other studios are moving out of its way and delaying their titles. God of War Ragnarok is easily one of the most anticipated titles on the horizon and is one of the games expected to be in the awards race at the end of 2022. There's still a lot of mystery surrounding God of War Ragnarok, but the game's release date was recently revealed and ensured that it would have a prime slot in the holiday season. With that said, according to Tim Geddes from Kind of Funny, developers and publishers may be, quote, scared of God of War Ragnarok. Geddes went on to note that he's had business calls with various people.
Is that not what you said?
That is what I said. He's noted that he has business calls with various people who said things that he was, quote, shocked by. I'm such a fucking turd. You know what I mean? Like, I say things that get quoted like I'm on business calls. People are going to be scared and shocked. He stated that developers and publishers were getting out of the way of God of War Ragnarok and, quote, pulling out of things. He didn't get too specific, but stated that it's all in service of giving God of War Ragnarok its space. And then they link a video of us talking about the Cory Barlog, also retweeted, which was pretty cool. Geddes didn't mention any titles or publishers, but Forspoken recently moved from October to January 2023, something fans speculated could be due to other releases this fall. Ubisoft recently scheduled Skull and Bones for November 8th, blah, blah, blah. There's a couple other things there. Now, let me just say this.
Say it.
Being completely honest and completely real, I do not know a single thing about games getting delayed because of this. I have had calls on the back end talking to people about marketing deals and about sponsorship stuff and how those dollars are being affected when it relates to the release of games. And in my past, that has led me to believe like, oh, the marketing budget that was supposed to be here for this game isn't there anymore. Why? It might be getting delayed. So there's a lot of maybes there. But just to be completely honest with y'all, there is nothing confirmed. I don't know a single game that has been officially delayed because of God of War Ragnarok. A lot of this is just, I've been around the block a couple times when it comes to these things. So sometimes where there's smokes, there's fires. Remember,
there's fires.
I'm just saying, like, is Tim Geddes really Jeff Grubb? Have we seen him in the same room?
I don't know.
I mean, I feel like I've seen him in the same call at some point, but also, you know, it's really easy to spoof things.
Is the image that we see of Jeff Grubb just like a CG rendering of like a fake man, you know, and it's really just Tim behind.
Yeah,
that.
like you take Tim Geddes, you like Photoshop and stretch his proportions enough, he becomes Jeff Grubb. Yeah, I can see it honestly.
Yeah.
Somebody make that happen.
The Mario 64. Someone just take my face in Mario 64 me here. I'll move my mic.
Do like the mini game from Mario Party? The similar thing where you would stretch Bowser's face. All right, so I want you to stretch Tim's face, make it Jeff Grubb. I'm looking at y'all. You guys know who you are. The editors, the fan creators are kind of funny. You guys know your names.
Again, I just want to shout out everybody. Never thought in my life I would be quoted in any article, let alone.
I mean, when you said it I was listening to the show. It sounded scoopish. I was like, oh shit, Tim knows things. Like Tim is dropping the scoops.
I do know things every once in a while. You know what I mean? But I'm never trying to present them in a way that's like I
write an article about this.
No. It scares me. Don't be writing articles about me. Don't write articles about what I say. Not because like it just scares me, and also I don't deserve it because literally I'm just saying that I had business calls.
Hey, like be more curious what those business calls are. You know, like when you say you're talking on phones with business, it's like, oh shit, he's talking to Square, he's talking to Xbox, Phil Spencer, he's talking to Mr. Nintendo, he's talking to all the people about them delaying their games. Now, when Cory Barlog quote tweeted the tweet, was your reaction one of, oh cool, Cory Barlog's quote tweeting us, or was it, oh no, he's hearing what I'm saying about people getting out the way of his game?
I'm gonna be honest. My first thought was, what did I say? Fuck. And then I watched the video again and I was like, okay, cool. I didn't say anything bad. But then I start thinking about like, oh, Cory's getting this out there, which means more people are going to see it. Is someone going to hear this and think the wrong thing? I don't know. Anyway, here we are.
It's always the fear.
There's always the fear. There's always the fear. But I'm just going to say this right now. I can put this on the record. All right. I don't know shit. In fact, I'm going to go as far as say Tim Geddes does not know shit. All right. Use either of those quotes, depending if you want to use third person.
See, I feel like
Tim Geddes is selling himself short.
The fact that he had to specify Tim Geddes makes it seem like, you know, his Jeff Grubb persona does know shit, you know?
I don't know. Someone get on it. Quote me more tomorrow, please.
It is nerve-wracking when something you said on the show breaks outside of the YouTube and podcast sphere and ends up on Twitter. Because we've been doing that lately with the clips, and it's been killing it. Honestly, shout out to Roger. Well, Roger will clip out things from the show now to actually put on
the directors clip out the things, and then we send it to Roger, and then he makes them look pretty.
Good correction, yeah. And so like we have our clips ending up on Twitter, which is like ended up in, you know, usually if I say some bullshit, it's between me and you, Tim, and Barrett Courtney on the ones and twos, and our Twitch chat. Right. And the people listening to the podcast. Right. Usually, though, it doesn't break out of that sphere. Usually I don't have to deal with the Twitter mentions and people being like, at Blessing Jr. is wrong whenever I say Spider-Man, the series, is better than Batman, the video game series. All right. Which is true. Usually I don't need to deal with that on Twitter, though. Yesterday, let me tell you.
I know.
When that clip went on Twitter, I was like, fuck, here we go. Yep. All right. People are going to be tagging me. And listen, I still stand by it. I still think the Spider-Man games are better than the Batman games. I'm not going to argue super hard. I don't think it's a wide gap.
You said that the world
also,
of
those are
Spider-Man 2018.
We're gonna have this conversation on a different show.
Is better designed than Arkham City's open world. It's just New York.
It's a better. Okay, well, it's just Arkham. It's a better open world game, is what I'll say.
What's story number 1, Bless?
You can't swing around in Batman the way you can swing around and run on walls and have a good time.
Glide and still, you got your grapple hook that makes you boost, and then you glide some more, like more fast, and it's really fun.
All right, let's table this for Gamescast. Hold this back. We're going to actually have the scientific debate. We're going to play the games. We're going to do all that. For now, let's hop into our actual story number 1. Microsoft claims that Sony pays for blocking rights to keep games off of Game Pass. This comes from Tom Warren at The Verge. Microsoft has claimed Sony pays for blocking rights to stop developers from adding their content to Xbox Game Pass. The explosive claims are part of documents filed with Brazil's national competition regulator and part of a review of Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard. Quote, Microsoft's ability to continue expanding Game Pass has been hampered by Sony's desire to inhibit such growth, claims Microsoft in an August 9th filing to the Administrative Council for Economic Defense, as translated from Portuguese. Quote, Sony pays for blocking rights to prevent developers from adding content to Game Pass and other competing subscription services, end quote. Does this mean Sony is evil and Microsoft is casually out here revealing some dastardly business practices? The reality is likely a little more complicated on both sides. Sony could simply be paying for exclusive rights for its own streaming services, or it may have clauses in some publishing contracts that prevent some games it publishes from being published on rival subscription services. Microsoft is attempting to convince Brazil's CADE regulator that it should waive through the company's proposed acquisition of Activision Blizzard for $68.7 billion. While the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, is analyzing documents from Microsoft on its acquisition in the US, that correspondence is private. That's not the case in Brazil, as we've learned in recent weeks, where its competition regulator offers up public documents that provide unique insight into business competition between Microsoft and Sony. Microsoft also argues that not distributing games like Call of Duty at rival console stores would simply not be profitable for the company. Microsoft has previously made it clear it'll keep Call of Duty on PlayStation. Microsoft says a strategy of not distributing Activision Blizzard games on rival consoles would only be profitable if the games could attract a high number of players over to the Xbox ecosystem, resulting in revenue to compensate for losses from not selling these titles on rival consoles. So we got a little bit of 2 news stories in one here, but to start off with the one that I think is more the talk of the town, even though I don't know if it necessarily needs to be, is the idea that Sony is blocking games from ending up on Xbox Game Pass. Tim, what do you think of this dastardly behavior from Sony?
I do think that it's just twisting words to make the headline more interesting than it actually is. Because, I mean, as this goes on to explain, it's less that they are actively paying to not allow games to be on Game Pass. It's more that they have deals and those deals don't allow Game Pass to have it, right? So it's like a semantics thing, but at the end of the day, there's a huge difference there in terms of how you get to the destination. So I think that the dastardly elements of it are kind of pulled back a bit. You know, it doesn't make it ideal for gamers, definitely not. But, you know, Final Fantasy VII Remake is still not on Xbox, and that's kind of just how this works with exclusivity deals, right? Like that means that technically, yeah, it's the rights are blocked for that to be on Game Pass, but that's a technicality more than Xbox getting or Sony paying to have things blocked from Microsoft in that specific way. That is a end result of it, but that is not the intended desire.
Yeah. For me, it comes back to what works best for developers who are trying to figure out how to market their games and get the best out of their game releases. And a lot of that for me is when you look at indie titles, for example, right? And like we talk about PlayStation indies all the time, especially on PS I Love You. If you look at the last year, you look at games like Sifu or Stray. Those games have been, and I believe those games are both PlayStation exclusive, so those might be bad examples. But let's extrapolate from there, right? Roller Drome, other games that might come out cross-platform, at least eventually, right? When we talk about these games, there's that association with PlayStation because we see them at State of Plays, we see them revealed at PlayStation showcases, right? The original PS5 showcases where we saw Stray and quite a few indie games that we associate with the platform. If those games, let's say 5 months later, came out on Xbox Game Pass, I could see the case of, well, as Sony, that doesn't necessarily make a great deal for us because we are having these games be the things that prop up our platform, right? We are trying to build an ideal catalog, a catalog that's worth getting excited for. And if the conversation becomes, well, hey, Sifu is coming to PlayStation, but we know 6 months later that'll end up on the Xbox Game Pass, that then does take that inherent value away from PlayStation owning that game and evangelizing that game and marketing that game. And that works on both sides, where Sony gets to have Sifu in its war chest of, hey, this is why you need a PlayStation 5. But then also the developers of Sifu get to get that marketing push, right? And get that, like, think about how much we were talking about Sifu leading up to it, because they were at Sony events and because we now associate that game with the PlayStation, right? And it is still PlayStation exclusive. A lot of this comes down to deals that end up being great for both the developer and for also PlayStation. And even though as the audience, I think a lot of us are like, well, it'd be great if these games were everywhere. I think that's just the reality of the situation, especially when you want to get your game out in the forefront. And it even works the opposite way, where there are games that come out on Game Pass that get pushed and gain popularity because they're on Game Pass. I think back to the original release of games like Outer Wilds, or games like Void Bastards, or even recently Escape Academy. Think about how much that conversation was about, oh yeah, this game is dope, and also you can get it on Game Pass right now. With that, I'm sure Xbox on their side probably has some deals that say, hey, also, can you not release this on PS Plus? Like, can you not put this on PS Plus Extra? We want this Game Pass release to be special for us, right? These are deals that exist across different publishers, and I do think it makes sense. It is all part of marketing.
Yeah, totally. And it's one of those things that I feel like as these subscription services continue to become more and more of the, if not the norm, like a bigger part of the pie chart when it comes to Game Pass. And on the Xbox side, I feel like that is quickly happening, where they care more about Game Pass subscriptions than they do selling individual titles of games. On the PlayStation side, with everything on PlayStation Plus, like they're, just had their big kind of reintroduction to the worlds in a lot of ways. Like what's that going to look like a year, 2 years from now, and how does it affect these type of deals? Because we've seen different waves and eras of the industry at this point when it comes to how games are released. Like it wasn't too long ago that Halo 2, you had to buy a separate disc to get the downloadable map pack because DLC wasn't a thing. But then DLC became a thing. Season passes become a thing. Just the way games are monetized and the way things are done changes. And, there was a decade of dealing with DLC exclusive things on Xbox versus PlayStation and having to deal with all the ramifications of that. I think that we're at a better, more concise era at this point, where there's a bit clearer of an understanding. And in a lot of ways, Xbox is blazing the trail. And it is on PlayStation to just kind of, even though PlayStation kind of did a lot of the stuff first, it's on them to make sure that PlayStation Plus isn't so much, it doesn't need to be a one-to-one competitor with Game Pass, but that it is offering things like Sifu and like those type of games that you were talking about, that we'll see how much more of that they have, how many more strays they have out there.
And I would imagine, like, I'm so surprised that this month neither Roller Drome nor We Are OFK are PS Plus extra titles. Roller Drome does have the trials that they have been promoting for PlayStation Plus Premium, but who gives a fuck about trials? Like, come on. I'm surprised these games aren't actually on the service, because that feels like what what they've been building towards, right? Especially having Stray be there day and date on PlayStation Plus Extra, and the reintroduction of PlayStation Plus being this thing that has felt more adjacent to being a competitor to Game Pass, right? Not one-for-one competitor, obviously, because Game Pass is going way harder with having first-party games on the platform. But for PlayStation, I would at least think, hey, give me one really cool PlayStation indie game a month on there that we are talking about, right? If Sifu came out after the reintroduction, I would expect a game like Sifu to be free on PlayStation Plus Extra. When Little Devil Inside eventually comes out, I would expect that to be free on PlayStation Plus Extra. And so far, that's my expectation as good business. But as far as the expectation that they're building now, not having Roller Drome and other games on there for the month of August, I am like, I wonder if that's gonna be the case, right? Now I wouldn't be surprised if Little Devil Inside is just a trial and not actually on the service. But I think if they want it to work, if they at least want to be competitive in the subscription wars, they should do that. That should be the way they should go about it.
Yeah, it's really interesting. My friend James is a gamer,
Bloodborne fan.
He definitely is. But he's a gamer, but he's not somebody that, like, he doesn't listen to podcasts. He doesn't go to websites to read about it. He doesn't follow any social media of game stuff. Like, he just kind of every once in a while asks me, like, is there games I'm missing? What should I be playing? Like that's the type of guy he is. But he has a PlayStation and he loaded it up and saw Sifu because Sifu was being promoted months ago. And PlayStation did a good enough job of just promoting it on their store that he was like, oh, this is the game they're pushing. I should buy it. So going back to your original point, it's like those little partnerships do go a long way for outside of our normal ecosystem, people that watch State of Play. So we already knew to be excited about Sifu. And then he ended up platinuming that. And then months later, I was just hanging out with him this weekend. And he was like, yo, you hear about this game Stray? And I was like, oh, yeah. And he was like, dude, like, it was free with PlayStation Plus with the tier that I have, so I downloaded it and I platinumed it. And I'm just like,
hell yeah, James.
Damn.
Nice.
So it's just cool that like the PlayStation is working. I feel like a lot of the times we always talk about the Xbox side of things because they are killing it. But I think that these little anecdotal stories, not true about everybody, but I legitimately know somebody that PlayStation Plus is a genuine surprise to them, that like, they are getting value out of it from decisions like Stray. So
and
hopefully
like
there's more of that.
These partnership deals are good for, again, good for the developers, right? Even beyond PlayStation and Xbox. You look at Epic Game Store, and I remember the story when that first launched was about them trying to get those exclusive releases on that store. And they would pay a lot of money to get games on there. And guess what? That money would pay off a lot of the game development for these indie developers who, oftentimes you hear the stories of, hey, I am spending all the money I have to make this video game, because turns out video games are expensive. They take a lot of time, and most of the time they are a risk when you are an indie developer creating your own game. When you have a Epic Game Store coming to you and going, hey, we will pay off the development of your game for you to be on our store for a year or 2 years exclusively. That's huge, right? That's big for that game, and they will also get that marketing push on the Epic Game Store as well. The same thing goes for Xbox Game Pass. I'm sure the same thing goes for PlayStation as well, in either PS Plus Extra or PS Plus Essential, right? These partnerships are huge, and yeah, they're gonna come with the non-competes, right? Hey, don't be on this service at this time. That's just the reality of it, and I think that is just to find the best case scenario for all involved, and not all of them, are going to be, great for the developers, right? Like I'm sure there's a spectrum of, hey, some of these publishers are fucking us, right? Some of these publishers are not, and I don't really have a good example in the video game space, but I know, like, as somebody who listens to a lot of rap music, there's often talk of like 360 deals and deals between artists and their I want to say publisher because it's video games, artists and their record label, about like, oh yeah, we get like 99% of the music sales that you get on this thing, but you'll get sales back on like live touring and stuff like that, right? Like, artists get screwed a lot of times when it comes to these kind of deals, and I'm sure that same thing probably exists in video games to some extent. I would love to talk to indie developers about it, because I'm sure that would lead to really interesting conversations. But in the best case scenarios, yeah, like, these deals tend to be good for multiple parties involved. Now, to the second part of the news story, talking about Call of Duty. This is one that I like reading because this is the argument that I've been making since the top of it. Again, to the for what the article says, right? This is Microsoft arguing that not distributing games like Call of Duty at rival console stores would not be profitable for the company, and so they're gonna have those games remain to be on those stores. I said this, I believe, when the deal first started, and I'll say it again. You don't buy Activision Blizzard and Call of Duty for $60-something billion and go, all right, now let's cut off Call of Duty money. Like, Call of Duty money is so big and so important to what that franchise is, that I don't think going exclusive on Game Pass with Call of Duty is the way to go, specifically for that franchise. I understand it for Bethesda, I understand it for other games. Call of Duty, I think, is just way too important and way too much of a cash cow to go that direction with, and so that makes sense to me.
Yeah, we'll see, man. The Call of Duty exclusivity thing is something that fascinates me endlessly, where I can't wait to see how the whole Microsoft Activision buyout, how that works out, and how the Call of Duty side works out 3, 5, 7 years from now. Like, how wild is everything going to be?
It's going to be different. See. Hopefully it's better for Call of Duty. Hopefully they take at least 1 year off now, or at least figure out a way to not oversaturate Call of Duty, because I think that's the big problem right now. But we'll see about that later. For now, let's hop into story number 2. Could you need a PSN account to play PlayStation games on PC in the future? This is Chris Scullion at Video Games Chronicle. A new FAQ on Sony's website hints that PC ports of PlayStation games may require a PSN account at some point in the future. A section on the official PlayStation website dedicated to PC games contains information for players looking to buy PlayStation Studios titles on Steam or the Epic Game Store. While some answers on the site FAQ are definitive, such as one regarding trophy support for PC games, quote, they will not sync with your trophies list on your PSN profile, end quote. Others include the word, quote, currently, implying that the situation has potential to change in the future. Under a question about requiring a PSN account to play PlayStation games on PC, the site states, quote, no, you currently do not need a PSN account to enjoy PlayStation Studios games on PC, end quote. The site also says it is, quote, currently not possible to transfer save data from the PS4 or PS5 version of a PlayStation Studios game to the PC version. PlayStation Studios games on PC, such as God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, Days Gone, and this week's latest release, Marvel Spider-Man Remastered, can be played without the need to sign up for a PSN account. Now, Tim, I feel like this news story is like doing a little bit of stretching with like the one word in the FAQ kind of thing. What I will say about it is that I do hope eventually they find ways to link your PSN account and in turn allow cross save. Because I think cross save would be so huge between PlayStation and PC.
And trophy support.
And trophy support.
All that stuff would be huge. And I feel like, again, ecosystem is so important. It's something that Xbox has down pat at this point. And PlayStation is playing catch up in every single way when it comes to from how smart delivery just works on Xbox and look at how it works on PlayStation or doesn't even exist, whatever it is. Plus all of this type of stuff on Xbox. You can just keep playing the games. Now with the Steam Deck being as big of a success as it is, just being able to play it seamlessly transfer onto your PC. Like there's so many different great options with this stuff that I am endlessly frustrated when I'm looking at things and I just want them to work a specific way and then they don't. And this is a perfect example of it, booting up Spider-Man on PC and just being like, I just want to swing around wearing one of my fancy shiny outfits. I want to see it all ray traced. I'm like, oh wait, I don't have it. I need to start from the beginning. Like that sucks. It's 2022. Should not be the way.
And like, could you just imagine the world we live in where, you know, Miles Morales, I've been on the platinum track for that game. I've taken a break since January on it, but I'm like 80% there for the Miles Morales platinum. Miles Morales at some point during this fall is going to come to PC. I believe that was announced. KindaFunny.com / you're wrong. Could you imagine the perfect world we live in where it comes to PC, I can pick up my Steam Deck, download Miles Morales, and just finish the rest of the platinum there? That is the dream scenario. Or like the far-flung future where PlayStation has decided to, you know, be nice to us and release games day and date on PC and PlayStation, and I can just go back and forth from my PS5 to playing a game on my Steam Deck natively without any sort of streaming. That would be incredible. It would. That would be the dream. Or like for you, I know, like going from playing on PS5 with the DualSense, all that stuff, and then deciding, hey, I want to play in ultra wide, and then being able to play on your monitor.
It'd be amazing, man. Honestly, like that would be so utterly fantastic. And we're close. Oh God, we're so close. We're so very, very close to making all this happen. And I mean, look, I know at this point I'm just kind of like going on a tirade, but it's like I wish that cross save and cross progression would just work across so many different games. Everything. Like I'm playing Sonic Origins on my PlayStation and on my Switch. I just want my Switch progress to work towards the same thing so I can get the platinum. Can it just be that easy? You know,
I mean,
and I understand there's so much that goes into that, but like there doesn't need to be, guys. Like, let's figure it out.
Dude, just last night I downloaded Multiverses on my Steam Deck because I'm traveling today, and you know I've been hooked on Multiverses for the last week, and I was so pleasantly surprised and happy when I linked my account. It took a few steps because who has a WB account? Like I had to figure out what my password was for my WB account. But once I got through those steps, I was able. What the fuck? I just noticed the Jeff Grubb thing. How long has that been there?
It's been there for a little bit. Shout out to our Lecouve on Twitter for making this. Roger Kingus on Twitter for making this. This is fantastic.
I don't like it. It's like it's disturbing.
It is.
Jesus.
Anyway. I kind of like it. I'm kind of into it.
Anyway, I want to see you with this long of hair now too.
Oh my God, Tim would rock this kind of hair.
I don't know, but I appreciate it, y'all.
Looking like Tarzan, Tim. But yeah, like once I got my Multiverses account linked and was able to boot up the game on my Steam Deck, all my challenges were there. My progression was there. My level 10 LeBron was right there. And I could just pick up and start playing again. And it is such a magical feeling. Like I had the same thing for Knockout City as well. And I didn't even have to link anything. I just booted it up and it just automatically somehow knew that it was my account from PlayStation. And I was like, all right, perfect. that is the future right there.
Totally,
like that
man.
is the cross-play, cross-progression future that we're building towards.
Yeah, it is. And I know that people don't like launchers and don't like having to sign in a million times. And look, I'm one of those people too. Like you just said, when I had to sign in Multiverses, I was like, I'm sure I have a WB Games account, but like, what is it? That must be like 7 passwords ago. And then you have to do the whole request a new password, blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh man, it's
the
those
fact that
little things, man.
It's the thing that got me is it's one of those passwords that requires a symbol as well. It's not just like, numbers and capitals and whatever. They're like, yeah, can you put a symbol in here too? And I'm like, goddamn, if I knew it was one of them ones, I wouldn't know what my password was.
Exactly.
Yeah, it fucked me up. But the developers keep doing it. Make the cross-play feature happen. Make the cross-progression feature happen, and let us be able to play all the games wherever we want with our saves and make it awesome. Tim, before we move on to the next news story, I want to let people out there know about patreon.com/KindaFunnyGames, where you can go and get the show ad-free. And speaking of ads, let us tell you about our sponsors.
No one. And The Rock means no one likes waiting on a paycheck. Especially, ladies and gentlemen, when you've got bills due. Good thing there's now Chime. Now you can get your paycheck up to 2 days early with direct deposit. That's up to 2 more days to save, pay bills, and generally just feel good about your money situation. Waiting for your money, never good. Getting your money in advance, great. Who wouldn't want that? Chime is more than about just getting paid early. It's also an award-winning mobile app, checking account, debit card, and optional savings account. So what are you waiting for? Hopefully not your paycheck. Get started with Chime today, applying for a free account. It takes less than 2 minutes. Get started at chime.com/KFgames. That's chime.com/KFgames. Banking services and debit card provided by the Bancorp Bank or Stride Bank N.A. Members FDIC. Early access to direct deposit funds depends on the payer. Where'd the sunglasses go? Chime.com/KFgames. That's chime.com/KFgames. Have you heard about the legendary underwear brand that's taken the podcast world by storm? Famous for their buttery soft undies and bralettes, MeUndies loves podcasts just as much as you do. It's like they're made for you, and you're made for them. You're made for each other. Now, of course, ladies and gentlemen, you know I love my MeUndies because they're the most comfortable underwear I've ever had, and because they have great patterns. As the king of Halloween, my candy corn pair never fails to make me smile. Everyone knows MeUndies for their super soft undies and comfy bralettes, but did you know they also make other stuff? We're talking about durable, cushy socks that will make your feet sing. They even make hoodies for your dog so you can match every important person in your life. Available in sizes XS to 4XL and tons of colors and prints. MeUndies has a great offer for my listeners. Any first-time purchasers can get 20% off plus free shipping and returns. To get 20% off your first order, free shipping, and a 100% satisfaction guarantee, go to MeUndies.com/KindaFunny. That's MeUndies.com/KindaFunny.
Story number 3. It's finally happening. Dragon Ball is coming to Fortnite. This comes directly from @FortniteGame on Twitter, where they tweeted out, "Speak, name your wish. August 16th, 2022. They then have attach a picture of Omega Shenron. Looks like he's just been summoned, ready to grant a wish. Tim, I can't believe it. We're in the best timeline.
How hype is this? I mean, freaking Fortnite. How many times are we going to say, wow, this is just the greatest crossover game ever. They're doing the damn thing. They're getting Goku, y'all. Like, this is the thing that even Sakurai could not pull off. You know what I mean?
Wow,
like,
wow.
This was
you
the
took
one
it there.
thing, man.
You
and
took it
obviously,
there.
like, I know that, like, I'm semi-joking about that, but like, jokes aside, this is a big deal, man.
Oh, yeah.
Like Fortnite just continues to add all the characters that people are wanting. Like, this is such a wish fulfillment, man. Like, good for them.
And like, it's almost as if anime and Dragon Ball has a wide reach even within Western audiences.
Yeah. And like Dragon Ball wasn't even the first anime to be in here, right? We had Naruto.
No.
You know?
Yeah, we had Naruto.
Yeah, and like that, some would say also has a very big reach, you know?
It's
almost
almost
like games can be improved by having anime in them.
Donald Mustard, man of taste, is what people say.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. This man knows how to pick them. Get Naruto in there, get Kratos in there, get Dragon Ball Z in there. The franchises people love. Unlike Greg Miller. I'm going to pull in a question from Alec Bobko, who writes into patreon.com/KindaFunnyGames, just like you can, and says, "What's up, KFD crew? Is August about to be Fortnite's biggest month yet? It was announced today, after all the leaks, that Dragon Ball Z collab with Fortnite is happening on August 16th. This is immediately following up Fortnite bringing back most, if not all, the Marvel skins. I know Fortnite rakes in the money all the time, but having Marvel and DBZ going back to back is huge. Curious to know your thoughts. Have a great day and keep up the amazing work. I want to one up this question. Is there any higher that Fortnite can go? I feel like how has Fortnite peaked? How do you surpass what you've done?
Well, that's the thing, man, is like they have built the foundation. It kind of reminds me of Smash Brothers for obvious reasons, it being a crossover game. But like you look at Melee, right? And the characters that it added, then it was like, cool, we went to Brawl. We had the addition of Sonic. It's like cool third-party characters are available, Snake as well. Then we get to the Wii U and then eventually Ultimate. And we're really, with Ultimate, like, cool. All the classic Nintendo characters, all the Pokemon you could ever want, every Sword, Fire Emblem character possible, they're all here. But then also they were like, cool, what are the iconic third-party titles? And you start going through all of that stuff. The one thing that they never got to was outside of video games, right? That's kind of where Fortnite started. Then they started going back to the video games the other way. So I do think that there's still a lot of IP and different branding things, especially on the Nintendo side of things, if they could ever pull that off, right? Like that would be, I think, the next big step for Fortnite would be getting the Nintendo official IP. Do
you think there is anything bigger than what they've gotten already, right? Because Nintendo would be big, right? To get the Mario characters, all that stuff. I think that would be another huge Infinity Stone on your gauntlet. But with having, Marvel in there, with having Dragon Ball Z, with having DC in there, with having Star Wars in there, are there any franchises that like supersedes those that would take it up to the next level?
Real talk, no jokes aside, we had Ariana Grande, right? Like they're in the real Scott. They get real people in this shit as well. The biggest thing in the world would be Kim Kardashian. And I'm not saying I want it, but I'm just saying Kim Kardashian is the most recognizable famous person in the world. And you try to think like who else could even potentially rival that?
Get Beyonce
The Rock.
in there.
Get Beyonce.
I mean, The Rock is already in there, yeah.
That's the thing. So it's like Kim K, baby. Fuck it. The whole Kardashian squad.
Get all of them. Get them. Get them all. I guess Travis Scott is kind of included in there, right? Like,
that's the thing.
We're already halfway there. Well, there you go. Congratulations, Fortnite. Speaking of updates, story number 4, Fall Guys is having a huge Sonic event. This again comes from @FallGuysGame on Twitter. They tweet out, Speed, Sonic, Eggman, Tails, Knuckles, Supersonic are now in the Fall Guys store. There's also a very fancy and sassy emote. Also, a Sonic-themed level, an event, exclamation point. They then go on to say, and this is now from the Fall Guys website, Sonic's adventure comes to Fall Guys fast on August 11th through the 15th. Running at blisteringly quick speed until August 15th, this 5-day event is one of the best we've ever had in the Blunder Dome. And it comes with a brand new level called Bean Hill Zone.
Hell yeah.
Bean Hill Zone, Tim.
Love it. Love that.
This is awesome. I'm sad that like I'm going to be busy for the next couple of days because I would love to just live in this.
Dude,
this looks really cool.
I know Greg's talked a lot of shit about Fall Guys, the cosmetics and stuff, but it's like, look, we're in the beginning of it. Like we just this story following the Fortnite story we just did. Eventually, Fall Guys is going to get the investment, maybe not on a Fortnite level, but with the Epic backing, they're going to get a lot more of these cool things. And at some point, y'all, we're going to be Kim Kardashian jumping around Bean Hill Zone.
Just tripping over, falling over, running alongside Travis Scott. Do you think we get there? Because like I've been surprised that we haven't gotten there already. I understand Fortnite is the biggest thing Epic has as far as like video game software, but they've also had Rocket League for a while, and I feel like Rocket League has had cool skins, right? And they've had like cool cosmetic stuff. I know the KindaFunny flag is in there, and it's been there since day one.
They had I think it was like
and they had Mario too,
and they had like the Batmobiles and stuff in there. Like they got really fun with it. I remember in the early days.
But I feel like Rocket League. I feel like we don't talk about Rocket League as like having the crazy skins and collab. Like, they're in there, but they definitely don't get Fortnite level. Do you think there's like, Tim? Do you think there's levels to this? Do you think Fall Guys is ever able to get Naruto and Dragon Ball Z and Marvel and DC and all the shit that Fortnite gets?
I do. I don't think all the things that Fortnite gets. I think that at the end of the day, it's money, right? These are licensing things that are used as marketing to make more money, and everything has to add up. I think they're building the foundation with Fall Guys. Fall Guys was a major sensation, and it's essentially had a reboot with its kind of the free-to-play model and the Fortnite model, the Epic Games model that we now have with things like Rocket League and Fortnite and Fall Guys. So look at Rocket League, right? Any car cool option that they could have had, they've done so far, right? Like they've really kind of stretched their stuff where they had the DeLorean, they had the Ghostbusters Ecto 1, they had Fast and Furious cars. Like they, I think, are thinking on a game by game level of like what makes the most sense here. And I think Sonic and Fall Guys makes a lot of sense, right? Fortnite, I think, has a little bit more luxury to like just get wild and crazy. But I think that we're just in phase one of what an Epic Games Fall Guy universe looks like. I imagine that they're just going to keep building this and it's going to get more and more wild until I don't think it's going to be crazy to see some of the bigger crossovers, some big Star Wars Marvel partnerships with Fall Guys if they keep up the momentum that I think that they're going to.
Now, Tim, I feel like we're also in the multiverse saga, right? Not just in Marvel, but in video games when it comes to in life, but also when it comes to video games and getting the skins and getting getting Kim Kardashian and Fortnite and all that stuff. Do you think that ever tires out? Do you think we see an end to it? Do you think there comes a point where, you know, they announce like a big Fortnite collaboration, everybody's like, all right, cool, another one? Like, what is this game anymore? We don't even know what Fortnite is. Fortnite is just like whatever season 1 is. Now it's just like amalgamation of all these different IPs and things. Do you think people ever tire out on that?
Yes, people are going to tire out of it because they tire out of anything. And like, you know, people these days get fatigued about legitimately anything. And that's just the way of life. Sure. So people get tired of it. Will everyone get tired of it? No, because it's cool. And at the end of the day, people like things and they like multiple things that they like hanging out together. That's just, it is what it is, man. Since the dawn of time, people were playing with action figures. And if they weren't playing with action figures, they were playing with wood and little leaves. You know what I mean? They were banging those things together. That is the crossover of the century, man. That was the collab back in the caveman days. Guess how fire was made, bless.
It was a collaboration. It was a crossover. Goddamn. And I asked the question mainly because, you know, Fall Guys, Rocket League, Fortnite seem to be the big pushes for Epic right now, and they're free to play ongoing stuff. But they have announced more games. Like we know they have I know fucking Remedy is working on a billion things. It's either Project Condor or Project Andor. No, Andor is the Star Wars thing. Project Vanguard. One of those is going to be is partnered with Epic as a new game. Epic is also partnered with like a bunch of other developers to put out new games. And I wonder if all those games adapt the same crossover style of cosmetics that we've seen in the 3 games that they're really pimping out right now. And like I'm mainly wondering about the thought process of what is the long-term strategy for monetizing these games and making sure that they feel fresh and making sure that we're not burning everybody out on a billion different crossovers at the same time.
Yeah.
But maybe that's just hey, we'll answer that when we get there. Like maybe we'll just wait and see when and if people get tired out, and if they don't, then we'll just keep putting Goku and Kim Kardashian in there and LeBron.
Yeah, dude, I can't wait.
Story number 5. Microsoft says Elden Ring on Game Pass was a bug. This comes from Ryan Leston at IGN. Nope, Elden Ring definitely isn't on Game Pass. Microsoft has confirmed that while some users saw Elden Ring appear on Xbox Cloud Gaming as part of Xbox Game Pass, it was just a bug that has now been fixed. Quote, if you've seen Elden Ring and other games appear as if they might be playable on Xbox Cloud Gaming or Xbox Game Pass, Microsoft says this is a bug and it has rolled out a fix, said The Verge editor Tom Warren via Twitter. Several games, including Elden Ring, GTA 5, and Soul Hackers 2, appeared on store pages and an ad promoting Xbox Cloud Gaming earlier today. But while many speculated that this meant an Xbox Game Pass debut for these titles, it looks as though it was all an unintended mistake. Quote, we're aware of a bug that incorrectly displayed some titles as available with Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, a Microsoft spokesperson told Eurogamer. Quote, we rolled out a fix and this should now be updated, end quote. Tim, what I find interesting / funny about this is when I saw the rumors circulating about Elden Ring and Soul Hackers 2 and GTA 5 being on Xbox Game Pass, I saw that and I was like, oh, that makes sense. That's how powerful Game Pass is. That wasn't even like a big thing. I was just like, okay, no, I can see it.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, cool. No, I'm right there with you, man. But yeah, it's I think it's gonna happen eventually. It might be a little early right now, but I think we'll get it on there.
We speculated a lot about that news on this week's XCast, and we talked about a couple of different theories there, right? Of like, you know, they've been doing the promise of like, you know, eventually we want to get to cloud gaming and having your entire library be available through cloud gaming and stuff like that. So maybe that was something that they're testing out with certain games like that. Maybe, you know, the bug is that, you know, they accidentally showed early that those games were being on Game Pass and stuff. And we were talking about also like the lining up of how it's interesting that like Soul Hackers 2 launches later this month on the 25th, I believe, and that's the same week as Gamescom. And like Microsoft does have a presence at Gamescom. Like, do they do stuff there and stuff like that? So we talked about a few different theories and all that stuff. And it's like the reality of like, would ignoring the Game Pass but just cloud gaming, would Elden Ring even be like good enough on cloud gaming? We talk all about that and more on this week's XCast. YouTube.com/KindaFunnyGames.
Now on a new day that comes out on Wednesdays now.
Yeah.
And also Soul Hackers 2 would make a lot of sense. You know, I think that would line up with the push of Xbox trying to get more Japanese games and promote them more. And then also Atlas, right? Like you're saying you saw the announcement of Persona coming to Xbox Game Pass on the Xbox stage. And I think it could make sense that like while having those talks, hey, let's also talk about Soul Hackers 2.
Yeah.
You know, that's going to be another game that kind of aligns with that. So
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised that as well. Of like, we're getting Persona in like 2 months. This might be a good title to get more people introduced to like what an Atlas specific JRPG is, like what that loop is, to get them, you know, prepared for getting even more hyped for Persona. And you see Sega, they just love every subscription service because the Yakuza games are coming to PS Plus now. The Yakuza games have been going on and off on Game Pass for like the last couple of years. Persona's coming. Yeah, Sega gets it.
Sega gets it. Last news story. Story number 6, Metal Slug Tactics has been delayed to 2023. This is Sal Romano at Gamatsu. Publisher, I always mispronounce this one, Dotemu, and developer Lakeir Studio have delayed strategy RPG Metal Slug Tactics from its previously planned 2022 release window to 2023. Quote, Marco, Eri, Theo, and Tarma are tinkering away to make Metal Slug Tactics as explosive as possible on release. But the squad needs a bit more time in the shop to prepare for the battles ahead, end quote, Dotemu said in a tweet. Quote, see you in 2023, end quote. And Tim, this is a story that I think harkens to the idea that if a game doesn't have a release date in 2022, but it has the window in 2022, just expect that game to get delayed. I think at this point, the fall is mostly laid out. Like, I'm sure there's a couple here and there, like, you know, fucking The Devil in Me, Dark Pictures Anthology. I'm sure that's going to actually come out. But for the most part, like the games that don't have dates, you're not going to see. Now, Tim Geddes has picked up his phone.
I just had a business call. Metal Slug Tactics has been delayed because of God of War Ragnarok. They said they were, quote, shocked and scared.
No, Tim!
Oh, God.
They're going to take it seriously, Tim!
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I'm really excited.
Stoking the fire.
I know. Hey, man, I'm taking the stick, taking the leaf, putting it together. Collab, baby. Fire. Metal Slug Tactics looks absolutely incredible, man. I hope this game knocks it out of the park. I love the look of it. I love the idea of Metal Slug's always had such a great visual identity, and taking the normal gameplay that we know and love and being like, you know what, fuck that. This is a tactics game. I think that there's a lot of potential here, man, because Metal Slug's one of the last examples of that like beautiful hand-drawn looking pixel art, and I want to see this game succeed.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous looking game. And that's one of the ones where I talk a lot about how there's certain franchises that like, or certain genres that are harder for me to get into. And strategy, like top down strategy, even whether real time or turn based, usually doesn't do it for me. And I've had it where Live Alive came out recently and that has a combat system that is turn based strategy. And that I really dug. Metal Slug Tactics has been one of the games I've been looking at as, all right, I might give this a shot, even though I know inherently this isn't my type of shit. It just looks so good and it looks fun, and I really want to, you know, just hang out in that world. It just seems like a really cool looking game, and I know people love Metal Slug.
Yeah, Metal Slug is awesome, and it's a cool world. 2 things I want to tell you, Bless. One is this is the type of game that I really wish was on mobile, and it might be. I don't even know, but like this is the type of game I want to lay in bed and just use my phone and just tactics away and have a good ass time. Second thing I want to say, on my flight back, I told you I was going to play through at least the caveman story.
Oh, I meant to follow up on this. Yeah,
and I did. What a video game, man. Again, I think the visuals push it for me more than what I'm getting so far from the gameplay, but I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of into this. I'm enjoying it, and what a gorgeous video game this is.
God, it looks so good. And yeah, it's one of those ones where, like, you know, when I was talking about it during the review, part of me was nervous that I was gonna like overhype it or oversell it, because it's not a game that ever punches you in the face with like awesomeness and fucking incredibleness, but it is one that is like, after I got 4 or 5 stories in, I was like, dude, I've really enjoyed all these. Like, I can't believe how consistently good this video game is. It is just a very solidly made game, and by the time you finish it, it's like, goddamn, they did something here.
Yeah.
And so yeah, are you planning to continue it?
I'm going to continue. I feel like it's one of those things I'm a slow play over time that like eventually probably in 2025 I'll have completely beat it. But yeah, right now my Switch is next to my bed and it is one of my, before I go to sleep, I've just been playing a little bit here and there.
Hell yeah. Did you get to check out Neon White?
I did. I was having issues where I played a whole round of levels. God, I love that game, but I immediately was like, "This, I think, is a mouse and keyboard game for me." Like, I
can see that,
Tim.
It's a little too twitchy with the right stick. I just couldn't get the sensitivity right. But I'm like, I love everything about this game. I love how corny it is. I love all the anime bullshit. I'm like, this is so perfectly stupid.
I love.
I couldn't imagine playing it on Switch. That's why, like, I played it on Steam Deck, and like the analog sticks on Steam Deck, I think have enough, I guess, just like surface space, if that makes sense. Like maneuverability, that I felt way more comfortable, or I felt comfortable with it. I never tried Neon White on the Switch just because I was like, I can't imagine.
That's where I played it originally, and there are definitely. It's definitely doable, but once you get into the obsessiveness that like myself and or Jeff Grubb get into, which might be just another version of Tim Geddes, and you get into some of the later levels where you have to like shoot demons from all the way across the map with like a pistol, and it's like a spec and stuff like that to like shorten your time. Like that stuff is just not doable on Switch. And then that's when I moved over to mouse and keyboard, Tim, and yes, it is chef's kiss on mouse and keyboard.
That is the reason why I haven't done the speedrunning stuff.
I feel like it's it's definitely better than Switch, but
better.
Not to the
yeah,
level.
it's definitely playable and really fun. I beat the whole thing on Steam Deck, but I couldn't go after your times because I just knew, because you guys were playing on mouse and keyboard, and I was like, the Steam Deck is great for playing Neon White, but if you're speedrunning Neon White, I do think you need mouse and keyboard.
Yeah, I was playing on the Pro Controller on Switch, and even that, I was like, it just doesn't.
Yeah.
It's not feeling right. It's too twitchy. I'm like, Andy got me to play Boomerang X last year, and I'm like, gave me the itch, man.
Yeah,
I'm gonna buy it right now on Steam Deck. On
yeah,
Steam.
and like you can fast forward through like all the dialogue stuff that you've gotten through,
or not.
Or not.
Are you enjoying the dialogue stuff?
I like it. I love that you're enjoying the story, because I feel like I'm the only one in the industry who enjoys the story, because everybody's like, yeah, I just fast forward through it. It just makes me sad.
The characters are so horny. It's like,
I just love how wild and stupid it is. Like it's like the perfect level of like, man, this is just dumbass fun, man. It's the Fast and Furious type shit that I love so much.
Exactly.
Now, before we get out of this news story, again, Metal Slug Tactics has been delayed to 2023. I'm looking at the rest of the year, at least as far as games that don't have release dates. And honestly, there aren't that many like big slated titles, at least on my Blessing Super Fun Game release calendar, which is what I'm working off of, that don't have release dates. The big one I'm looking at is Sonic Frontiers, right? And it seems like the only event we have left really is Gamescom, opening night live. There is going to be a Sonic trailer at Gamescom. Do we get the date there?
I've heard somewhere that December is the target release date for that. And so I imagine that if they're trying to hit that Gamescom, since we know we get the trailer there, I imagine that would be the place that we get the date announcement. My bigger question is, do they do it? Because I feel like it's more of a fiscal year situation for Sega, where they need that money. They need that Sonic money, right?
Yeah.
But when's it going to happen? Wait, where did I see this? I'm going to have to think about it. Maybe talk about it on Different Games Daily.
Sorry, I just got a call. Somebody just told me that Sonic Frontiers is getting delayed to 2023 to get out the way of God of War Ragnarok. They said they're very scared. They're like,
quote?
Yeah. The quote, "We're very scared. Gotta go fast away from Ragnarok." Yeah, that's exactly how they said it.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, you hate to see it. But yeah, when I'm looking at dates, right? The other ones, Little Devil Inside is still slated for 2022, and that's one I can see sneak out, but I'm also like, I can see that also just easily getting delayed in 2023.
Yeah, for sure.
And then there's some dumbass games here with dates or with windows for 2022. Tales from the Borderlands is slated for 2022 for some reason. That's not coming out in 2022. No. Dark Pictures Anthology will come out. That'll probably come out in October. Those always hit.
Hogwarts Legacy.
I always forget about Hogwarts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's not coming out this year.
You don't think so?
Why? What's your reasoning for it?
Because we haven't had any major updates in a while, and we're so close to the end of the year. I feel like, I don't know. It's kind of a gut feeling with just how late in the year we are, with the continued kind of frustrations I imagine from the development team of just like the association that the IP that they're working with, and the creator of that IP not being the the best, and them just trying to figure out what the hell they're gonna do with it. And maybe I'm completely wrong, but I have a feeling that we're not getting that game this year.
Yeah, I'm pretty 50-50 on it, where it's like, I don't have any evidence either way. It does feel late enough into the year that if it was coming this year, we would have a date for it.
Yeah,
which we don't right now, right?
We don't. No, I think that is just 2022, and that's one that I think
Holiday,
I'm with Barrett.
2022.
Yeah, holiday. That's one where I'm with Barrett, where I think God of War Ragnarok probably serious. And this is not even me playing with the bit anymore. I don't know where you put Harry Potter. You could play it in December, and I know it's Harry Potter. It has the name, it has the IP and all that stuff.
Yeah, it could release at any point in the year, and it'll sell well because of how
it'll sell well. It'll be fine.
Yeah, like
but I still think God of War Ragnarok dominates. I do think you want to get out the way of God of War Ragnarok. Not that it's gonna like ruin the game or anything, but I do think that like
I don't think they care. I think that is the one IP where they're like, Harry Potter's big enough that like literally people who aren't gamers who might have access to a PS5 or an Xbox, like they're gonna get this game because it's Harry Potter and it's being able to explore that castle, which is what people have wanted for years outside of the original like games that were based off the movies and stuff, right? That is the one IP that I think they're just like, yeah, we don't give a shit about God of War.
Now, another game that is slated for 2022, Somerville from Jump Ship. No date. Tim, do you remember Somerville? The Jump Ship essentially are the developers that spun off from Playdead, the Inside Studio, and they're making a Playdead looking ass game that looks dope as hell. Has a lot of anticipation. I'm really looking forward to it. Slated for 2022.
No
way that
hits. Not a chance. Not a chance.
No way that hits.
Yo, I mean, oh man. 2023, y'all.
2023 is about to be
2023
fire.
is about to be fire until we're in August of 2023, and we're like, yo, 2024 though.
2024 is about to be
and we're still talking about.
We're gonna get Wolfenstein 3 eventually.
Somehow still talking about Gotham Knights.
Tim, I can't wait for 2023, but that year of video games is just so far away. If I want to know what's coming out to mom and pop shops today, where would I look?
The official list of upcoming software across each and every platform as listed by the KindaFunny Games Daily Show host each and every weekday.
Yeah. Out today, we got Cult of the Lamb for PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, Switch, and PC. Rumbleverse for PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Arcade Paradise for PC, PS4, PS5, Switch, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. I'm just going to start saying everything. Curse to Golf for everything. Super Bullet Break for PC, PS4, and Switch. Rigid Force Redux for Android, and then Shin-Chan, Me and the Professor on Summer Vacation, The Endless 7-Day Journey is out today for Switch. No joke, the game looks pretty cool. I looked it up, I'm like, I kind of want to play this. New dates for you?
Shin-Chan, I've never fully understood. Do you know what it is?
It's an anime.
Because I remember watching it, and I feel like it might have been, do you remember MXC, Most Extreme Elimination Challenge?
No.
Where Spike TV took a Japanese game show and like overdubbed it and just made a bunch of jokes and shit. I feel like Shin-Chan had the same thing happen where they took a innocent Japanese anime and then just overdubbed it with a bunch of English bullshit. Because I remember watching it on, I don't know what channel it was, but it was one of those late night things.
You saw it.
I remember being like, this is I shouldn't be seeing this, man.
Yes, 100%. I remember I have the exact same memory, and it's so far back in the trenches of my memories that I don't like recall fully, because I think I conflated it a little bit with Dragon Ball, because I had some of that with Dragon Ball too.
Oh yeah,
I'd watch Dragon Ball.
Goku.
Yeah, little baby Goku was not. He was inappropriate sometimes. He was doing things that he shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
His doinker's out, like he's touching Bulma in weird spots, and I'm like, stop that, Goku.
Stop it, Goku.
I conflate Shin-Chan with that, and I think Shin-Chan was probably a similar situation where his dingling was out every now and then. I'm like, why are you showing me this?
Yeah.
I'm watching
Fortnite soon. Dinglings.
Coming to, I thought you were talking about Shinshan. I guess Dinkling's coming to, Dragon Ball. I see what you're doing. I see where you're taking the culture to. New dates for you. Kirby's Dream Buffet is out on August 17th on Switch. Kitsune Zero, the prequel to the LGBTQ plus platformer Kitsune Tales, dashes to Steam on September 12th. Tim Burton inspired adventure Whateverland torments souls on PC on September 15th.
What a great name. Whateverland?
Oh, that's awesome. And then VR sword fighting game Altair Breaker launches globally on August 18th. We got one deal of the day for you.
Really quick, Bless. I do have another out today. We have a new Mario Party mini game that is being sent to me through Corey Cudney, which is really interesting.
Oh, look at what Nintendo's doing.
Fucking love it.
This is fantastic.
So good.
Shout out to
Corey Cudney, you are the GOAT.
It's awesome. For audio listeners, it's the Bowser mini game, like I was talking about earlier in the show. But it is people morphing Tim to look like Jeff Grubb. It's fantastic.
Corey I just love it.
The GOAT. We got one deal of the day for you. For $30, you can get Resident Evil 0 through 7 in the latest Humble Bundle called the Resident Evil Decades of Horror Bundle. And your purchase of this bundle helps support direct relief and humanitarian crisis relief efforts to help the people of Ukraine. So go over there, get a bunch of Resident Evil games for a good cause. Now it's time for kindafunny.com/you're wrong. Rewrite in, let us know what we got wrong as we got it wrong so we can correct it for those watching later on YouTube and listening later on podcast services around the globe. We have just one from Nitro39 who says Spider-Man Miles Morales is coming in fall 2022 according to the PlayStation PC website. I appreciate the clarification on that. Tomorrow's hosts for Kinda Funny Games Daily are Tim and Jirard the Completionist. So
Hell
get
yeah.
hyped for that. That's gonna be a fun one. If you're watching this live on Twitch right now, after this is Cult of the Lamb with Mike and Nick. If you want to catch that stream later, you can subscribe to youtube.com/kindafunnyplays. Remember, this has been Kinda Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday live right here on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames. We run you through the nerdy news you need to know about. We have a Patreon post show for those that are subbed at the silver level of patreon.com/kindafunnygames. And guess what? It is a shit list.
Yes.
Today, Tim, we're going to be talking about the top 10 best Super Mario 64 courses ranked.
Oh, yeah, baby. This is going to be a good one.
This is a great one for us. I know both of us fucking love those Mario 64 courses. So,
I love this.
If you're on the silver level of patreon.com/kindafunnygames, you get access to that. So stick around. Otherwise, until next time, game daily.